For the first 8 months after retirement, I only spent that time at home. I received unemployment benefits of 1.2 million Korean won a month from the Labor Ministry Employment Center. However, the benefits ended and a frustrating time was looming. During the last 38 years of my work life, all of the assets I have earned is a country house, a small piece of farmland, some money in bank deposits, guaranteed insurances, and the national pension. It is not enough to say that I have lived a good life. I farm in the garden to get some food, but birds and bugs eat my vegetables or fruits first, and then I get it. I started receiving a national pension, but only 1.5 million won a month. With that money, I cannot expect to live a cultural life like most people, and I cannot afford to spend money on cash gifts. The volunteer work I had planned is also difficult for me. I have lived frugally all these years until now, but I regret not tightening my belt more. I searched for newspaper ads, internet job sites, and submitted applications, but there was no job that needed me. I applied for the recruitment of public corporations, research institutes, and public organizations several times. One of the public organizations noticed me and asked me to come for an interview, so I drove to Busan. As I was chosen for the final interview to select a couple of people, I drove a long way to go without hesitation, but they dropped me without paying me a penny for transportation, and they did not notify me of the result. I seem to have had the interview with the man they would hire as an executive. I realized that I served as the best man for them. After that, I looked up employee recruitment announcements on the internet and submitted my resume to a freshwater fish market near my house. I submitted my resume there to receive unemployment benefits, but I got an unexpected call. I am not sure if you can work here because your background is so brilliant. Listening to the boss of the fish market, I remembered working at the bus repair station as a child. I asked myself, is there a working environment worse than the bus repair station? I went to work the next day with the attitude of doing everything in my mind. I started work at 8 a.m. at the market. Early in the morning, I drove the truck to the nearby riverside and picked up freshwater fish which the fishermen caught at the river. I trimmed the entrails, scales, and fins of the freshwater fish with a few colleagues at the indoor workshop. It was my first time doing it, so I could only trim 2 or 3 fish when they were doing 10 fish. In addition, I pricked my finger on the fin of a mandarin fish, and I even bled. Without the time to look at the prick, I had to drive a truck to deliver the freshwater fish to restaurants. I was afraid my fingers would swell, but they didn't. I delivered it to Chungpyeong, Gapyeong, and Misari, which were far away from the market. One day, I had no time for lunch, so I only had one piece of bread for lunch at 4 p.m. The next day, my boss bought me 2 rolls of gimbap, rice wrapped in seaweed. I was holding the steering wheel with one hand and eating gimbap with the other, and I had tears in my eyes, but I could not fall down there. I made a resolution to do so. A lot of freshwater fish had been sold, as well as hot soup ingredients because it was summer vacation season. Sometimes I went to the coastal part of Incheon to buy some freshwater fish or eel. I hated a slow-moving car on the road while driving the live fish car busily. Sometimes I used to drive slowly to talk to my wife in the car, but now I was the driver of a live fish car and I was grumbling at the slow car. I was surprised many times when a driver would speed past my car in a rage, but now my position changed and I fully understood the time-conscious driver. Contacting some people for a short period of time spent in the market, I had been through some unusual things I had not experienced before. I had a first-class driver's license, but it was my first time driving a truck, so I did not have a good sense of driving. On a narrow road to a restaurant, there was a foreign car parked askew. I had an accident with a slight scratch on the bumper. The owners of the car were young people who came from Chongpyeong to enjoy the water. Despite the scratch on the surface of the bumper, they said they would rent a foreign car for 4 days and send it to the auto repair shop for repairs. I was dumbfounded. It would be fine to paint it with paintbrushes, but they even asked for a foreign car rental. The rental car costed 500,000 won a day, and the total cost was over 3 million won, including the repairing costs. It was amazing. I felt sorry for what our country was going to be like. They asked the staff of the insurance company to rent a foreign car, and they took care of it as the young people wanted. Does this make sense? I'll report it to the Financial Service Authority. I complained to the staff, but the staff did not sleep all night listening to me and asked not to report it. Then I wondered if they were the ones who cheated the insurance company. Everybody told me not to do anything about foreign cars. To make matters worse, the restaurant owner said, "It's too late. What if you bring it after lunchtime?" There was a store next to the freshwater fish market. The store owner said that he had been going through ups and downs. He was 2 years younger than me, but he had a lot of business experience and was a man of so-called big scale. I'll tell you what, before the IMF crisis, I was the president of the famous K Industry. There were 7,000 employees in the company. My wife is the daughter of the owner of K Hotel. Who knew I would be like this? The company which he was running went belly up at the time, but now he said he lived empty-hearted. He even told me the famous words of monk Songcho, which he heard from the Buddhist monk Bopjong in the past. Bopjong is famous for non-possession. Mountains are mountains and water is water. Now that I was just a driver of a live fish car, I tried to realize myself again and endure everything. I learned a lot of things there. I still seem to need more life experience. The freshwater fish market was a part of the 3D industry: dirty, difficult, dangerous. The fish garbage smelled disgusting. In hot weather, the smell of rotting fish stung my nose. No one was cleaning up the overflow of garbage inside. I cleaned up all the garbage with my bare hands. Besides, it was my job to feed the big dogs. The boss said it was refreshing to clean up. I enjoyed my life as a staff of the market when I laid down all my past illustrious careers. Anyhow, I still preferred the outside world and being with nature. The boss asked me to work with him for a long time. Maybe he liked me finding work that others had been avoiding, but I, who had worked as an office worker all my life, could not handle my job at the freshwater fish market. I could not work any more because my wrists hurt. I realized the words that the elderly said, "I am young by thought only." In the end, I quit my job, and I decided not to take a penny for all the hard work I had done for the 15 days there.